Good morning, good afternoon. Hey Sanford, how are you doing? Hey Nav, good morning. Hey Augusto, good to see you again. Hey Jumarinas, good morning. It is Monday the 29th of April, a brand new week, a brand new trading week. Yen has been going absolutely mad today. Shooting as high as 160 and then spiking right back down to 155 and then bouncing back up now. I think it is slightly above 157 right now. So I hope you guys, if you have been trading the yen, have been trading it well on the right side of things, taking trades, small trades, big trades. If you have been trading the yen, US yen, pound yen, Aussie yen, euro yen, Swiss yen, whichever ones, do put into the chat and let me know how you've gone with those pairs, or how you've been going with your trades. I'd love to find out. We are going to be doing the Monday session a little bit differently. Got feedback that there is still a preference to keep the analysis to the H1 time frame. So we will still look at the markets or the week ahead, but we'll revert back to analyzing the setups on the H1 time frame. It kind of gets a bit messy switching between H4 and H1, and then I want to tell you different things on different time frames. So we'll stick to the H1 time frame, but we will look into the week ahead on what could happen. And if you are new to the session, do remember to drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. And for all the regulars, a big welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. I forgot to check, but I think you guys can see me okay and hear me all right. I think connection is good today. Hi Jimmy, how are you doing? If you have a question at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. And if you can help me out massively, do remember to click that like and subscribe button. Appreciate that a lot, massively. Okay, with that, what else? If you haven't already, do make sure you join us on the Discord channel. The link is there for you guys. We can discuss more about our trades through the day on the Discord channel. It'll be there for you guys, absolutely free to join. Good morning, Diana, how are you doing? I had a tiring weekend, but I'm glad it's Monday again. I'm glad it's back to the trading week. Okay, before we keep going ahead, a quick disclaimer. Any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Please do your own due diligence, as the contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, as your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. And massive thanks to Jimmy and Surin for noticing. Yes, I had a bit of a haircut, trying to keep it sharp for you guys, since that's all you're looking at. But yeah, thanks for noticing and appreciate that. What happened to the yen just now? It's going to retrace and test 160 for, maybe you get to 160. I haven't looked at it yet, but yen has been bouncing all over the place. I'm pretty much done just today. Over the last couple of hours, I'm pretty much done for the week. I can be pretty much done for the week right now. It's just taking a little bit of speculative positions here and there when it comes up on some risk capital. Okay, so let's get down into it. Okay, let's get into it. What's up for this week? We have the Euro CPI, or the German CPI, preliminary CPI to be released, not out yet, 0.4 to 0.6. Expected a bit of a bump to the upside. I don't think in this current climate, I don't think it's going to do too much to the euro. Tomorrow on Tuesday, we have a whole bunch of news released, but not, again, too particular about those. What we're looking forward to is on Wednesday, where most of the markets are going to be on a bank holiday for Labor Day. We're not going to have a stream on Wednesday because it's Labor Day. But we do have Kiwi with the employment numbers to be released. We have the US ADP non-farm employment change numbers to be released. 184 expected, 184 previous, expected 179. We'll think about it when it comes around on Wednesday afternoon. It's a bit too early to think about it right now. We also have the US manufacturing PMI to be released, together with Thursday morning, early Thursday morning, 2 a.m. GMT +8. We have the US Fed funds rate to be decided. I don't think there's much to decide. It's going to stay at 5.5%. I'm not expecting a surprise here from the Feds, but I think the volatility, the craziness is possibly going to come during the press conference at 2:30 a.m. where Chair Powell might or might not give us, the market, a bit of indication into what their timeline is for future rate cuts. Okay, and then we have CPI for the Swiss, unemployment claims for the US again, through to Friday, where we have the non-farm employment change numbers for the US. It hasn't been the typical NFPs that we are used to. Not big volatility, but it is still something to pay attention to as it comes around. All right, so what you notice is that Friday we have non-farm payrolls to be released. On Thursday morning we have the US Fed funds rate. On Wednesday we have some PMI numbers and the ADP numbers, JOLTS as well. Tuesday, not much apart from the Canadian GDP to be released. And then on Monday today, relatively quiet in terms of news, but I think the headliners are coming from the yen and how it has been bouncing. I wouldn't say moving, it's been bouncing around. Okay, Jimmy's on the buy from 156.50 on the yen. I'm totally out of it. I'll just show you what's happening on the yen. Oh, it's coming back down. Jimmy is coming back down. There we go. Wait, let's see what happened here. There you go. Okay, while the yen is coming back down, this was what happened on the yen. I'll just share with you what I was doing, or what I did. Right, this morning when I came in, and then I was looking at it on the M15 time frame. Zoom in a bit. Let me zoom in a bit there. No, 5-minute time frame there. I was looking at the yen pushing up, right, climbing to the upside, and I thought if it breaks above that previous high, or tries to break above that previous high, I'll get into a trade to the upside on the yen. Got in, right? I think I got in about that point there. Got in, next minute or next 5 minutes, it pushed up. So initially I had a 30 pip take profit and a 30 pip stop loss. Take that away. Right, a 30 pip take profit, a 30 pip stop loss. It pushed up, and then as it was pushing up, I went, okay, stop loss to break even. I dragged that up randomly to about 100 pips, I think a little bit, 100 pips there. I dragged it up randomly to 100 pips, and then the next moment it pushed up and when spiked up, hit my take profit, and I'm out. All right, so it actually, with that move, it went up as high as 160, which was a good 180 pip move to the upside. Didn't take the whole 180, took 100 and I'm out. Then back to the H1 time frame. It set at 180, it set at 160, came back down. So I had my fib level from the bottom to the top there. I'll show you on M15 time frame. From this move, so I looked at that 61.8 level, and I thought, okay, if it breaks 61.8, we might be looking at a bit of a move to the downside. So I had my sell order there, 10 pip stop, 90 pip. I didn't think that it was going to go all the way, so I just wanted to come down to this level again. Came right back down. Didn't even see that happening. I was out at lunch, came back down and hit that level, and that's it. That's it for me. I did try and sell this down, got closed out on a loss On the US yen, I had a trade on, I think on the 1 minute time frame. I'll show you. Yeah, that one. So I had that where I was trying to sell it down as it was breaking that low. When I was breaking that low, I was trying to sell it down. I had my 30 pip stop, and then I was trying to go for that move down for 140, just thinking it's going to continue down. It bounced back up. I closed out at about 25, if I'm not wrong. Right? Close out of that trade at 25. So loss on that, and then it's bounced back up. I was sharing with you guys on the Discord channel a sell order, which I've cancelled unfortunately. I had a sell order just below 155. So I had that 155, 90, 85. Stop loss again, 10 pips. Right, and then take profit 110 to the downside. But as it pushed up, I thought, right, I moved that up to 155.90, but once it broke above and got to the 157 level, I canceled that. Unfortunately, because now it's just reversed strongly down from 157, currently at 155.39. I was looking at this thinking that forming that rejection, we might have seen the dollar yen, we might have seen the dollar yen push back up, but that did not happen. It's pushing right back down now. The level in question on the yen would be, is it going to break below this 155 level? We saw that on Friday. We saw it happen once on Friday. We ended our stream. I rushed to end our stream because my trade got triggered. It shot down, took 70 on Friday, and then it bounced. So at this level, it's bounced once, it's bounced twice. The question now is, if this is coming down, it's currently at 155.55, is it going to come down to break this level? And if it does break this support, then you could be looking at a sell order. I can't put it in now for myself, but you could be looking at a sell order 154.90, stop loss very tight, right? I would say because of the way it's moving, I'll go even 10 pips, take profit 115, 120 to the downside, just looking for it to break that level and head down towards the next support. So we're looking at that potential. Right, you could even go as much as 20 for that move. We're looking for a quick spike to the downside there on the dollar yen. Question from Diana: it's a bank holiday in Japan. Is that what is the cause of the down? I think that the bank holiday was a good reason. Not because it's a bank holiday, but they might have coincided the bank holiday with it hitting that 160 level, and we probably see a lot of levels or sell orders here at 160, pushing it to the downside, triggering that together with a possible intervention from the BOJ to push it down from 160 to the downside. Okay, so is it really an intervention? We actually don't know. The Bank of Japan very seldom comes out and say, yes, we've intervened. I think generally it's not something that central bankers like to say, that they've intervened in the currency movements. But from that kind of move, it does look like it. On Friday, it looked like a trial. It looked like a trial intervention from 156.70 down to 155, pushed up through Friday night and then early this morning, and then now pushing lower. So what I'm looking for here would be for it to break that 155 level, for that quick 120 pip move to the downside again. Okay, I hope it doesn't happen during our during the stream because I would like to try and catch that move. So it might hopefully just stay there for now, and then right after we end the session, when I put in my order, look for that big spike down. That would be awesome. Okay, so that was what we, well, in terms of news, not that much. What was I looking at here? No, not that one. I saw a headliner there. Oh, there. Yeah, Fed Reserve may cut rate. So it's quite funny that, you know, despite how everyone else is thinking that the Fed Reserve was initially thinking of 3 rate cuts, then 2 rate cuts, now they're talking about 1 rate cuts. I was a bit surprised to see this headliner that the Fed Reserve may still cut rates 3 times in 2024 from Julius Baer. Right, so that's quite an interesting thought. That means that they'll keep rates on hold, and most likely keep rates on hold this time. Then in the June meeting, when it comes up, right, in the June meeting, we're looking at a small chance of it easing, but if they do think that the Feds could still cut rates 3 times in this year, then we're looking at July, September, November, or July, or September, November, December being quite a busy period for the Feds as they look to cut rates over 3 times over 4 meetings. So that's going to be quite at least 3 times over 5 meetings, or at least 3 times over 4 meetings. That's going to be quite interesting if it does turn out that way. Okay, so now looking at the dollar, all right, dollar index on today is the 29th. Not a lot of news to watch out for, and most volatility coming from the yen, right? We were talking about this on Friday, where we'll consolidate along this 105.60 level before pushing up to 150.60 or 106 level and range, and it did. So it pushed up to 106, which is that 61.8 level here, right? Hit the level, rejected, and pushed down, still within the range. I don't think for very long. We take that one away. Hey, Angel Case, how you doing? Hey, Chuku, how you doing? Okay, so there we have it. It's in that range. The question now is if the dollar does break below 105.60, or we could even go to 105.55. I would say 105.50, right? 105.50 be down here. So we know that this whole range here is likely to be our support level. All right, that's our support level. If it does break below 105.50, then we could see it head down towards that 105.10 level. Let me just check this level. Maybe we could even come down to this point here, which is just nice at 105. Okay, there we go. So now we're looking at the dollar index. If it breaks down from 105.50, we could see further downside to that 105 round number support level. There we go. Now dollar break below 105.50, could trade down to 105 round number support. Okay. The range is still there, but looking at the way not just the yen, but all the other currency pairs are moving, I do think that we're going to see a bit more downside on the dollar. I'm happy to leave that there and put just a dotted line right across at that 50% level. Okay, there we go. We're looking at that. It's not a done and dusted thing, because we have seen the dollar since Thursday bounce off this area quite strongly. So it's not a confirmed move to the downside yet. We do want to see it close below this level before we could start thinking of further downside on the dollar index. All right, fair. Now looking at this on the Kiwi, we spoke about this possible dollar strength. It did push down, would have gone back up and hit your stop loss, so you would have triggered your trade here at 0.5945. Would have came down about 15 pips, but would have gone back up to hit your stop loss at 20. Okay, it wasn't a big confirmed move, because you can see that that trend line was broken, but then that support level, resistance slash support level, was just fluctuating around that point. It was just in a wide range there before it's pushed back up again. So what I'm looking at here now on the Kiwi would be that kind of move, right? Pushing back up. Now thinking about this, looking at 61.8 will be up here to about that point there. So maybe what I'm thinking is a bit of it's pushing up now, but I might want to see that come back down, test that support again, and bounce back up. Right, so we're going to see it test the support at 5950 or 5952, bounce off the support, then you could be looking to buy it up. 5960, stop loss 20 would be fair. Take profit could go up to 50 to the upside, well, 45 to the upside, which will be around that 61.8 level. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Okay, throat is killing me again. We're looking to buy this up 5960, 20 to 45. Stop loss 20, take profit 45 to the upside. I can tell you that oh man, what's happening? Okay, I can tell you that as much as we're looking at the Aussie and the Kiwi and maybe all the other pairs, I'm not super keen on these right now, especially for today. I think my focus is going to be more on the yen, because that's where we're seeing a lot of that volatility come in. You're looking at the Kiwi, it has moved, but since this morning it's popped up and it's came back down only to a range of, right, since 9 to now, only a range of 33 pips, right? So it has moved, but it hasn't moved that much. So the focus for me, we want to go to where liquidity and where volatility is. That's why I would say back to the yen pairs. Okay, so that is the view for the Kiwi. On to the Aussie. That was something I looked at. I didn't get into this trade as it bounced, but it's moving quite nicely. It did come down, test that trend line, bounce back up. I was looking at this a little bit late, so it wasn't on Friday. I take that away. Take that away. I was looking at it as, oh no wait, I was looking at it as it popped up at about that point, right, at 6565. I was thinking, yes, I am late on the Aussie, but could I get into that trade that way, 50 pips and then a 30 pip stop loss? But then I just thought, it's, I could, but it's not where the volatility is. No point trying to squeeze out that trade on the Aussie. So take that away. Now again, looking for that very similar move I'll be looking for is for it to come down and bounce off that trend line. Similar to the Kiwi, would be for it to come down, bounce off, and push back up towards that resistance. That's broken. 61.8 is broken. We can take that away. That move will coincide with 23.6. We can take that one away. Yeah, so Aussie needs to stay above 6530. Needs to stay above 6530, what we're looking for it to do, even if it does break down and then push back up. We're looking for it to retest about 6620. I don't need that point. I would say I would swap this around and put that there with my resistance up here. So that's a 50% level. That's my interim level. And I would have that. I would even have that actually. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. A test and rebound, and then you could be looking for a long position. 6560. Stop loss 20 pips. Take profit, you could go firstly to 60. If it gets to 60, then you start thinking to drag this up for 95, and then your stop loss goes to break even or goes to secure up to about 6540. Right? 6585. Okay? So that's what I'll be looking for on the Aussie dollar, to buy it up from 6560, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 60 pips to the upside. 6560, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the upside for the Aussie dollar. Hey Jamil, how you doing? Good morning. Hey Temba, good to see you. Now on to the US yen. Well, we know what we're expecting on the US yen. I would like to say that maybe we could see a further upside on the yen, but I think that that's when it rejected, those following on the Discord channel, where when it bounced, it came down to 155, failed to break, it bounced back up. I was saying that if it's above 156 and 157, we might see that continuation back up. But given that it's rejected that 157 level, we don't need that because it's taken away. And if you look at this move down now, that's the 38.2 level. There we go. Okay, so now it is coming very close. Sell order would be in place. 154.90. You could, if you want to be a bit safer, 154.75. 30 pip stop loss. 105 pip take profit to the downside towards the support level of 153.70. I hope it doesn't drop. I want to get into that trade, but we'll wait and see what happens there. 154.75, sell down, 30 pip stop loss, 105 to the downside. US yen, we're looking at it reversing. We're looking to sell 154.75, stop loss 30, take profit 105 to the downside. All right, checking the Bollinger, it's outside, so I'm hoping that it's going to come back in a bit, give me a bit of time before it pushes down, but I'm not ruling out a scenario that it could just spike down and continue all the way lower. It does certainly look like the intervention is happening. The thin liquidity during this bank holiday might also, like Diana was saying, might also be one of the reasons, not for it to drop, but for that big spikes, because any moves are magnified with lower liquidity. So watching that. Then onto the pound dollar, still looking for that possibility. If the dollar bounces off from this point back up, we're looking for the pound dollar to lose ground against the US with that 61.8 level holding at that resistance. So I'll keep this view. I would adjust it slightly. Let me check. If I took this point up, 23 would be there. That'd be too far away. I'll be looking for rejection. I like it at below 1.25. I like it below 1.25, but I think that that's too far away. And when I look at this, that's 50% right here, which it could hit and bounce. So I think what we're looking for here on the pound dollar, looking at that, oops. Looking at that, I probably look like, Diana says euro is much better for a sell. I think that we have the Kiwi and the Aussie for the buy, so I'll keep that. I'll think of the pound as, again, another test and possible reject. Could we buy it up? Maybe we could look to the pound to buy up. There's no major news on the pound. Okay, so we look at this as if the pound bounces off and breaks, well, continues to the upside, and it goes above 61.8. Right, so because I don't like it to try and sell down below 1.25, it's a bit too far away. I'm just thinking now 1.2570, stop loss 40 pips, take profit back up 120. I don't think you'll get 120. You might have about that point there, which is about 80 pips to the upside. So that's what I'm looking at for the pound dollar. Pushing up, could get in a little bit earlier, 1.2560. Stop loss 30, take profit 85 to the upside. You might go a bit low on that. I would say go 40 in that, because it's just in that resistance area, so it might bounce around a bit, but we're looking for that move to the upside. So what I'm looking at here on the pound dollar would be to buy US yen. Got down, triggered. Okay, if anyone got into that trade, it would have triggered your trade. I didn't get into that on the session, but we're looking at that pushing down. Please remember, disclaimer still applies. I might be missing this, or I'm definitely missing this move. Let me know if any of you got into that trade. And that's happening quite nicely. Let me just get this pound out first. 1.2560, 40 to 85. 1.2560, stop loss 40, take profit 85 to the upside. Jimmy is in, nice. US yen, what you want to do, just to share with you guys. I'm so annoyed I didn't get into this, but what you want to do is that once it pushes down, because it is going to be very volatile, So once it pushes down, I'll move this across. Right, once it pushes down, you go to the M15 time frame. Once you get like a good couple 20 something pips to the downside, you want to move that to break even. Okay, just remember that, move it to break even, not too early because it could come back up and close you out. You know, but you want to move it down to break even just so that you secure your position. And also be careful, it might just bounce back up. It's just at that level, but I'm looking for that move. Talk about spotting live trades as it happens. I'll be glad to see that push down 100 pips, even for you guys. Right? I didn't get into that, but even for you guys. So the US yen and the pound yen, we can have a look at that shortly. I'm so distracted by the yen at the moment. Okay, when you go through this, continue on. That did not happen, take that away. Euro, dollar. Push that up. Close your trade on 70 pips for the yen, 40 pips for pound yen. Yes, very good idea. I think that's a good move. We see that happening right across. It's testing. That's my 50% there. No problem, Richard, but please be careful, please. It's still trading. We could still be wrong. I can lose trades. I do lose trades. So it's not always the case that it's a win. So just be careful. Euro dollar sitting there. I actually don't like it that much to sell down. I actually don't like it that much to sell down. I think that the euro could actually just bounce around here for a while more before it breaks lower. Right, it has a bit of it seems like it does have a bit of a consolidation around this range. And I'm just thinking that it could bounce back up as well. We'll put this in as a reason to cover our bases, because we're looking at dollar weakness right across the board, but we're thinking that if it does break below 1.07, stop loss 30 pips, take profit about 30 to the downside. You could go all the way down 90 to the downside, but I don't see that happening. On the Euro news today, on PMI, CPI, GDP numbers tomorrow, CPI is not going to do too much here. Okay, we'll keep that as an option. I don't think this will be something. I don't think it's a today kind of trade. I think that, you know, trying to sell the euro down might be a bit of a later on kind of trade. It might just fluctuate along this level for now. But we'll keep that as an option at 1.07, 30 pip to 90 pip to the downside for the euro. Okay, we're looking to sell this at 1.07, stop loss 30, take profit 90 to the downside. It's likely to could consolidate along resistance level for now. Hey Lingopedia, how are you doing? Opinion for gold monthly close. I will try. I don't really do a monthly close, but we'll have a look at it. Dollar index is pushing down. It's bounced back up. You might, those of you who got in might have been stopped out. I'm not sure. You might be close to getting stopped out there. Right, that's why it's a bit speculative on this push down, or definitely stopped out now. I would still try. I'll still look for that move, even if it bounces back up. So even if it bounces back up like that, I'll still look for that move down. This is on a smaller time frame. Okay. Messing up my charts. Okay, take that away. I'm not in it yet, but thank you for your work. I appreciate that, Richard. Thank you so much. Be careful, today, second last day of the month. Yes. US Swiss franc pushing down. This wouldn't have triggered. It didn't close below our levels, wouldn't have triggered, wouldn't have hit your stop loss. But it did push down, and you can see that it's consolidating at this point. 9.1. We keep talking about 9.1, 0.91 on the US Swiss franc. It's bounced off this level several times. Could push down on dollar weakness, but it will be very quick. It could be quick and fast, right? Similar to what happened here on the US Swiss franc. So we're looking for that to break to the downside. You're looking to, if you want to trade this, 9090, stop loss tight, no more than 20. 15 would be reasonable, be fair. 35 to the downside, or even if you went down to, I don't see it getting to that point. I think 35 would be more than reasonable to the downside. Okay, so US Swiss franc would be to sell down 0.9090, stop loss 15, take profit 35, small trade to the downside. USCAD, we were saying look for reaction at 1.36. Nothing happened. It didn't come down to 1.36. It's consolidating at this point. So we were saying look for reaction 1.3610. Didn't come close. I think that with the way it's moving, you see that downward trend holding prices lower. We should anticipate for further downside, especially thinking that the dollar could push lower. So wouldn't do anything. Again, I would still maintain that view. It could come down to this point and bounce. So I'll maintain that view. Again, because I'm not super interested in this right now, I think focus is on the yen. I wouldn't be doing too much. I'll still say, it could come down to 1.3610, look for reaction at that point. So I'll keep that there, look for reaction at 1.3610. And then onto the Aussie yen pushing down. We know what's happening on the US yen. Let's check. US yen bounce back up. You hit a stop there on 30. Right now, if you're going to be taking the yen, you should be doing it on risk capital. It's just highly volatile. Aussie yen push back up. Now looking at this, thinking about this move, it's found 50. I know we don't usually look at Aussie yen, but why not, since we're looking at all the yen pairs. I would say that look for it to break 50. Definitely in this region, I would be a bit cautious on the Aussie yen. Wouldn't be looking for too much at this point. Needs to break. Right, it is a 100 pip range, but I will look for it to break, because it could just come down slightly and push right back up. I would say that you could be looking for 100.25, and then you sell it down about a 40 pip stop. I wouldn't go all the way. I don't think it'll go all the way. Maybe a 100 pip take to the downside. Just catching that point there. Okay, then onto the euro yen pushing down. Wait, too many lines here, don't know what's this. Rejected that level, pushed all the way back down. It's in the middle right now. You could be looking for a retest and push down, but generally Looking at this euro dollar, it's sitting right there, might push down a little bit. So on the euro yen, you probably wouldn't want to do anything unless it breaks below 165.25. This is like trying to be super conservative. 165, below 165, you have a tight stop, maybe 40 pips at the most. Take profit 140 to the downside. Pound yen, very volatile, very volatile. Don't know why I have all these small fib levels. Broke through that resistance, pushing down. What you probably want to do here is look for it to retrace slightly before pushing back down again. It could retrace quite a bit more because remember, we're thinking that the pound dollar could push up, right? So if the pound dollar does push up quite strongly, that could drag the pound yen up. Depending on the scale of the intervention, we're looking for it to push back down again. Okay, so you're looking for it to test and reject 195 to push back down towards 193.40. Would be scenario like 194.85. Stop loss. It's quite wide, about 45 pips. Take profit 140. Similar for the euro yen, but I think that if it does push back up, I still wouldn't do anything in this region. It just feels like in this area, it's just gonna bounce around with a bit of indecision. So I wanted to break a key level, another level, before I would look for that big move. Right, and then Swiss yen pushing all the way. We have too many lines here on the Swiss yen. Take that one away for now. Pushing lower. You could sell it down, but I think it's just in the middle. I think that in this area for the Swiss yen, it's just going to do that kind of move, right? Or to a greater scale. So I wouldn't be too keen on the Swiss yen unless it breaks below 169.32 or 169.20, then you could be looking at that level like that. 30 pip wide. 25 would be reasonable. To an 85 to the downside towards the next support level. Jamil's thinking selling on pound. Pound, sell. Yeah, it looks like it could, but we're thinking that maybe it could also do that. If it does break down, you could try and do some interim selling. Euro dollar, I think that, instead of doing that on the euro dollar, what I think could happen is even that. So drag down, push up, and then break to the downside. So euro yen could get dragged up a little bit by the euro dollar. Okay, US yen is back up above that support level. Does need to break to the downside. Then on to gold. We were looking, Diana says, I think euro will go down. Yeah, I think it will go down, but I think that it might sit in this range for a while. I think it'll sit in this area for a while before it breaks and hits lower. I don't like it right now just because I wouldn't be happy to sell it now. I want to sell it if it breaks that trend line or tests and rejects that level. And also that 50% level is just a bit of a hindrance as well, that point. Okay. And gold, we were talking about this, trading up to 23.60. Gold went up to 23.52 before coming back down again. Now sitting in this area. There was a question about the monthly closing. I don't usually look at monthly close, but where were we on the start of the month? We were back here, daily time frame. We're back here on the start. Take that away for now. Oops. It's done that. It's just sitting in consolidation at this point. Looking at a dollar bouncing back off this level now slightly. Think that we could see this on a monthly view. We're definitely looking at a bit more upside. On the daily chart, we're possibly looking at more upside, especially if 2300 holds. Looking for it to bounce back up. But if we're looking at it on the hourly time frame, that one's broken, so we're done. 50% is also broken. It's just tested. All right, 50% is right there, so it's also tested. Oops, there we go. Thank you, Diana. Holding prices up. We're looking at that. So possibly looking at a bit more upside. I'm still looking currently at 23.35. I would still be looking for gold to trade up towards that 23.60 level. All right, so gold is currently at 23.35. Could continue trading higher to 23.60. There we go. Okay, now checking back on the yen, it's bounced back up. The pound dollar, you're looking to sell down. It's bouncing back up a little bit. I think it's going to test this level, but we're looking for that push back up. The euro dollar is just fluctuating, looking for a bit of a push down before bouncing around. Aussie and Kiwi. Aussie could be in. I might actually be looking for a bit more of a retrace, so might be looking at this pushing back up. And look at that. That level is now again holding the dollar index. So maybe not today. Might see a bit of a brief push to the downside. I think that overall it might be looking at this and then that again. All right, so I actually think that we'll revise this to say that it could just come down slightly to that 105.30 level. Right. There we go. With that, now, the focus is again back to the yen and watching what could happen at this point. 155.54. I am still looking for further downside potential on the US yen. That's why it's golden. Yes, gold is. You know what? Gold is very good on hindsight. Gold is very good on hindsight. You go, oh, I could have bought here and, you know, closed out there. But when you're actually trading it, it really comes down to managing that risk, because a lot of times you get spiked out of a position and then it continues up. So it's down to lot sizing, it's down to risk management, to be able to sit through or sustain that volatility as it spikes around before maybe pushing higher again. Okay, Now, with all that said, please remember, if you haven't already, do help me out. Click that like and subscribe button. The link for the Discord channel is there as well. If you are trading today, especially on the yen pairs, please remember, trade well, trade safe. If you have any questions, ping me on Discord. With all that said, I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care now. Bye-bye.